who do we learn from? The teacher, the best teacher of all, and that was Jesus. And, I guess for me, there was many times he stepped away, but the one that really is significant to me was before he was going to be, when they were plotting against him, he was going to be arrested right before they arrested him, and he doesn't go by himself. Okay. And it's interesting because taking a time out doesn't mean true soul isolation.
And I have that here.
Okay,
so
perfect. And we'll talk about that. But so he gets his closest disciples, James, Peter, and John, and he goes to the Garden of Gethsemane. And, but I love this because he needed to kind of get away. He knew what was going to happen, what was to come, which was not easy. I mean, I can't even imagine being put in that situation.
Right.
We wouldn't make it. But he goes, and I love this because he goes into prayer. It says here, sit here while I go over there to pray. And this is what he says. He tells Peter, John, and James, he says, my soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. He went on a little further and he bowed in the face to the ground, praying, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine. Then he returned to the disciples and found them asleep. But, it's significant because he knew what was to happen. And I think when we're faced with adversity, trials, tribulations, or when we're feeling anxiety, depression, things are flaring up, or we're confused, or we're feeling overwhelmed and we don't know what to do. Well, this is what we should do, right? Is take a time out and
That's
say,
right.
you know what? Okay. And go to the Father. Matthew 11, 28 says, and this is Jesus, he says, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. And that is our Father. We have someone who loves us, who is so caring, and we could go, because that's exactly what Jesus did. He provided that example. He went, he got on his knees. He was full of emotions. He was in despair. He was distraught. He was crushed because of what was to come. But what did he do? He isolated himself. He took a time out and said, you know what? I'm going to go to the one I know that can carry those burdens for me.